the lost art of patience and foundational. And this has a lot to do with parenting. Our parents' generation around the world, where they could, when they borrowed money from parents. Our parents borrowed money from grandparents and paid them back if they wanted a house or start a business. Now, kids think their parents should just give them money.
Yeah.
If you're 22 years old or older in the world and your parents are giving you money, you're in deep trouble.
Why?
Because you have been told by your parents and you've told yourself that you were incapable of standing on your own 2 feet.
Correct.
Which immediately leads to insecurity, which leads to very bad behavior.
Dependence.
The end. And then when I say this, and this may be the 5th or 6th time I've said this publicly, I'll get a bunch of emails saying, you don't know me, I have 2 children from a bad man who left me. I'm like, live in a worse house. I'm like, why am I looking at if your situation's so horrible and you need to think of your parents, why did I just click your Instagram account and you have a Prada bag?
Yeah.
We've become so materialistic that people want all these things, but they want them. The question is, why do they want them? They want them because we're communicating to the world. Every one of us right now is wearing what we're wearing, our haircuts, everything, communication. We're positioning ourselves to the world. I really, really think there's a lot of important conversations that are not being had. I'm trying to throw them out there, and I remember, meeting with you like a year ago. Like, I like when people see what and my hope is that if I have the courage to say stuff that people aren't talking about, then others will start doing it. Like, these are important, this is an important video. If one kid or grown up watches this on YouTube and changes their behavior, that's intense legacy. From 2007 to 2011, I replied to every single email and tweet I got until 4 in the morning. Nobody knew who I was, so I would go into Twitter search wine terms, and jump into conversations that people would tweet having this Pinot Noir, and I would reply. They didn't know me, and I would reply, that's a good one, did you try the year before? And slowly but surely, for hours and hours and hours, for years and years and years, I built a foundation that years and years and years later started the creation of what people see now. And meanwhile, people start a TikTok account, post 5 times, don't go viral, and they're like, this sucks.
Why do you think so many entrepreneurs still fail?
Because it's hard. It's hard. Entrepreneurship got cool. Look at you and I. Look at you and I right now, dressed and acting at 38 and 44. When we were 6 and 7 years old, people at 38 did not wear the Travis Scott's Nike, it's a different culture, but it's hard. It's hard. Number 2, entrepreneurship got cool. And that's the biggest issue right now. It's trending. People it's crazy. I'm the coolest I've ever been at 44 because entrepreneurship got cool. And now everybody wants to be one. Just like a rapper, just like an athlete. It's that cool.
Correct.
That's dangerous.
It is.
Because first of all, every guy wants to do it because it helps them get girls. 90% of them should not be entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is super lonely. It's anxiety filled. I was telling D-Rock yesterday, I hate being on this part of the world because when we go to sleep, there's still action going on in New York, and New York is where most of my headaches are. And I can't attend to it, so I go to sleep not as comfortably. Yeah, it's lonely, right?
I relate. I wake up at 3 a.m., write a note so I just don't forget, and then it's quite messed up.
It's not, and right now, people raise capital so they can pretend they're winning. When you raise capital, you can disguise
success.
Correct. So I'm talking about it, not because I want to say I'm an entrepreneur and you're not. I'm saying it because I know what happens next. What happens next is the money stops flowing because there's a global economic slowdown. And I do believe that 90%, 95% of the people that we know that have startups will fail because they didn't build a business, they were building a deck to raise more capital.
Yeah, they're in it for a completely different reason.
They're not in for the game. They're in it for how it makes them look and the potential of money.
Yes,
and
that's very dangerous. Like, this is what I tell a lot of the students in university, because I'm like, you don't see somebody who has a cafeteria making money. You're like, he's making money, I should open a cafeteria. And that's what you see. You see cafeteria, dry cleaner, I'm like, just because he made money, you shouldn't, why are you doing it? So you have to have passion, but you have to have the skill for it. Do something you're passionate about, but you're actually good at.
Or if you have the passion and your skill is okay, settle into knowing that you're only gonna make 130,000.
Accept that.
Aim for happiness, be self-aware. I'm not the best fashion designer, but I love it so much that I know I'm not gonna make 5 million a year, but I love it so much, right? Nobody's talking about that.
That's awareness, man.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, this is real for me. I want to make the $130,000 take-home fashion designer happy. The problem is right now, every fashion designer wants to become Off-White. They are like, if it's not there are kids running around thinking that if they don't build $1 billion company, it's not a big company. We've completely lost sense of reality. It's completely broken. I think we have to understand that every single human is different. And if we don't reverse engineer what they're good or bad at, and they have to go through one singular system, it's inconceivable that we're doing anything good for them. Miraculously, 33% of those kids, 18, 29, 54, 71, will get what they want. I just think that it's unfortunate to force somebody from 6 to 18 or 22 to go through a system that brings them no value and prepares them for nothing that happens in real life. How are we still in 2020 in a world where we do not educate children on how to manage money?
It's not even there.
Not a kid is being taught about how to manage money. Every kid is being talked about outer space. Who gives a shit about outer space? I don't care about Saturn. People don't know how to pay their taxes. It's a complete, it doesn't work for everybody and everyone has to do it, that's bad. B, looking at the room here and definitely the people behind the camera, anybody who now lives life post-school realizes there's an enormous amount about life that we were not prepared for in any shape or form. Why?
One size fits all.
One size fits all, can't work for anything. Two, even what's taught in there is missing core things. Why don't we teach self-esteem? Why don't we teach money management? Why don't we teach
mental health? Let's talk about that.
Why don't we teach anything that's valuable? Everything that's taught is stuff that people memorize.
Correct.
Why should I memorize something? Where's my phone? I got the answer on my phone. It's great. The whole system is fundamentally broken. Every relationship, whether it's your spouse, your boyfriend, girlfriend, your children, your parents, your business partners, your siblings, every relationship is 100% predicated on communication.
And that's your secret.
And that's it. And when it works for me, it works because of communication, and when it doesn't work for me, it's because of breakdown of communication. And that's it. That's for me, and that's for every other single person on earth. It's kind of like everything else we talk about, and I think one of the things that's been obvious to me in our limited interactions with each other is I don't think we overthink things. You made a great point about plastic surgery. I think about that a lot. I really do. When I talk about business, or how simple I just answered the relationship question, all of this is wildly simple. People just don't want to do it. You want your body to look better? eat better, and go to the gym. That's it.
Very simple.
That's it. Every course, every book, every conference, every video is just extra layers of fat on a very simple thing. You want to build a business? Here's how you do it. Make something that people want. Make it always about the customer. Make it always about your employees. Be patient, be disciplined, rinse and repeat, these things can be wildly simple. The problem is we complicate them. More importantly, the things that are simple are actually hard. It's hard.
To be simple, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to do hard work. People have egos. I tell the kids all the time, at 27 years old, I was in a liquor store in New Jersey, ringing people up and taking boxes to their car. That's my life. I was doing that. So of course, when you're 24 and you're freaked out that you haven't made it yet, of course I'm gonna laugh at that. Of course. I lived something else. I want you to see it. So I think it's communication.
Do you think, because obviously your page is very objective about work, entrepreneurship, and if people even keep scrolling, they don't see anything about your being a father of
Yeah.
two or a husband.
Yes.
Obviously it's by design.
Of course.
But do you
I think I'm the most
there is
public,
opposite?
I'm the most public private person there is.
Yes, you see, so there's the others that will, I don't want to say sabotage, but they will put out their family and they become family.
Easy likes.
Right? Yeah.
You know what gets easy likes? Girlfriends and boyfriends.
Food.
Your pet.
Yeah.
Children. Layup.
Yes.
I am convinced that there are enormous amounts of people in the world that have children just for Instagram.
It's like a bag, like a designer bag. So
Now,
yeah.
that doesn't bother me, believe it or not, because I believe an enormous amount of people have children because they think they're supposed to at a certain age, because their mother's putting pressure on them. There's a lot of other reasons people,
Especially in this region.
Of course, listen, one of the reasons I think I do resonate quite a bit in Asia, in the Middle East, in other parts of the world, is I deeply understand immigrant culture. And I understand old world culture.
They connect to you also.
100%, an old world culture. So I get it. I mean, the biggest one in the region for me, the single biggest reason I love coming to this region is just to go on stage and put pressure on the parents to stop using their children as collateral for their own ego. The number one flaw, the one thing that Americans are detached from their children, which I don't think is great, but the one thing that is extreme in this part of the world is parents tell kids to do things that makes them look good, it's 100% selfish. This part of the world, Asia, India, wildly selfish parents who force their kids because you don't want to embarrass the family. You have to go to that school to make me look good. You have to be an engineer or a banker, or you have to go to Harvard in America to make me look good. I haven't even paid attention to what makes you happy.
Absolutely.
You're a product of me.
What makes my kid
And you know what makes me mad? And I talk to some of these 63-year-olds, 45-year-olds. I'm like, this is what hurts me about the cliche 22-year-old kid in this part of the world. They listen to their parents talk about how their grandparents made them miserable for doing what they wanted, and they're just repeating the same behavior. Of course it is, but it's time for it to stop. And things stop when people start talking. And the reason I'm saying this right now is for that reason. Hopefully the next person takes it.